COVID-19 is having a very devastating effect on the world. Whether you're in business or you are a member of civil society, almost no one is insulated from this, except the very wealthy person who can social isolate, social distance, in the comfort of their own home and have nothing to worry about. I want to say this to you. There are things that you can do. There are things that you should do, particularly so if you consider yourself a smart person moving forward. You should not live life as usual. There are things that you can do. There are things that you must do. And we are here at Global Branding and Marketing, Venture Capital Inc. and Mega Money Media to give you tips, techniques, and support to live better quality of life. And put yourself in that position of strength where you can begin to insulate yourself from some of the man-made and natural disasters that life can throw at you. In the event that you're joining me for the first time, do permit me to introduce myself. My name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of several books. I'm the multiple best-selling author for Billionaire Codes and Managers Toolkits. Today I want to talk to you about a very interesting topic. There are two things that I believe that you can do right now, so in the future, if something negative can happen, should happen, you are better prepared to deal with it. One of those things that I want to encourage you to do right now is what we call your income life cycle and lifestyle audit. The second thing that I would encourage you to develop is your income leverage portfolio. What does that mean? It simply means that you need to start looking at multiple streams of income. I'll get into that very shortly. But let me explain the first concept, which is your income, life cycle, and lifestyle audit. It is important to take stock of 5 things under this heading. You need to know your income. You need to know your expenditure. You need to ensure that you have a positive balance sheet. Along with this, your balance sheet is measured against your future plans. And your future plans, in the event that your balance sheet cannot address all of them, you look at your smart investment strategies. So there's 5 things you look at here: income, expenditure, balance sheet, future plans, smart investment strategies. Now let's look a little bit at the future plans and then I'll come back to the top. Very often we see people across the world. You have dreams, you have hopes, you have aspirations. So those dreams and those hopes and aspirations very often are projected in your future plans and things that you are likely to see on your future projection, your future plans are things like early retirement, children college funds, higher education, owning your own home, owning your own car, being able to take an all-inclusive family tour. What a lot of families do, at the beginning of every year, you do what you call your New Year resolution. You don't need a New Year resolution. You need a master plan for your life, a master plan. And perhaps your master plan will take into consideration all that is your immediate and future plans. One of the challenges with planning is that very often persons sit, idealize a great concept, a great idea. Some may go to the extent to develop a plan, a great plan. But the energy that you put into developing that plan, equal energy must be placed into implementing that plan. And we'll talk a little bit about that today. All right. I want to come back to the top, and which is income. When last have you done your income audit? There are many persons in the world today who have a single source of income. You're fully aware that your single source of income is totally inadequate to cover your overhead expenses. But in spite of this, you tend to see yourself as being in no position of strength to control the realities that governs your life. And that's a hopeless position to be in. At Venture Capital Inc., at Mega Money Inc., Mega Money Media, at Global Branding and Marketing, we have designed programs that positions you to become knowledgeable about financial intelligence. But we normally say to you that if knowledge is power, the application of that knowledge is your superpower. So we do everything practically possible to ensure that we can get you from the knowledge base into the application base, where you are fully able to activate your superpower. Which means that if we teach you about passive income cash flow, you would also understand the practical steps, the practical processes to position yourself to start earning passive income cash flow. Coming right back to income. You're fully aware that your income is inadequate. So things that we will do for you, we look at, depending on the type of worker that you are, we look at your monthly income against your yearly income. We measure your monthly expenditure against your yearly expenditure. Now, what happens when you do these two things? Immediately you're supposed to see a balance sheet. Now, your balance sheet could either be positive or negative. And what we are seeing is that most people across the world, you have a negative bank balance, you have a negative balance sheet. And that certainly is not a position of strength. It's not a healthy position that you want to be in. Whether you're living alone, whether you have a wife and children, this is certainly not a position that you want to be in. There are things that you can do. And what you need to do is to ensure that you have a PFA, a professional financial advisor, and a personal financial advisor. You need it because history has shown very clear that if you had known what to do, perhaps you would have done it already. So what history is showing is that most persons are not in the position of strength. They don't have the knowledge base to develop their income, life cycle, and lifestyle audit. They don't teach most people this in the school system, whether secondary school or high school. So most people I would keep saying that the global education system condition people for work. But being conditioned for work does not mean that you're conditioned to live life. You're programmed to work, you're socialized to work, but you're not placed in that position of strength to live life abundantly. Again, the programs that we are providing at Global Branding and Marketing, Mega Money Media, and Venture Capital Inc., they're all designed to empower you to become an innovative thinker, to become a knowledge worker who can apply knowledge, making knowledge your superpower. So coming right back again to the topic. When you measure your income against your expenditure, immediately you're supposed to be knowing whether you're having a positive balance sheet or a negative balance sheet. What most people know is that at the end of the month, they earn, and by mid-month, money done. Caribbean term, money done. All of your monies would have been finished. So you end up, if you're in the developed world, you end up using your credit card to create debt, or if you're in the Caribbean, perhaps you find a friend and take some money from your friend to sustain you throughout the month. So when you collect pay at the end of the month again, you pay off some of your debts and that cycle continues. And again, most persons see themselves not being in a position of strength to be able to address this matter. This for me, it's a very deep-seated issue. Why? Because as a humanitarian, I have an obligation to speak about this. I do believe that the school system has failed, and people across the world, this is not a developed world thing, it's not just a Caribbean thing. I'm saying that my research is showing me that the global education system has failed to position the masses of society, the majority of people in the world, to become financially independent. It is my belief that education should translate into people having a sense of self, a sense of purpose, and a sense of direction for their lives. It is my belief that a solid education system should position people not only to be relevant to work, but to be relevant to themselves, to be empowered, to live the best quality of life. And so far, perhaps the selective few might have been experiencing that. And for us, again, as humanitarian, we want to speak to those issues. So in speaking to those issues, we also would have developed something that we call a new corporate culture, where in the not too distant future, we will start to amplify visibility with what we consider to be a new corporate culture. And that's a culture that speaks about workplace empathy. It's important for you to recognize this, private sector. The mission that we're going to set out to do when we speak about a new corporate culture is not an attack on the private sector. In fact, the new corporate culture, first of all, will identify strategic income streams that businesses can use. So you're not going into your traditional income portfolio to provide greater benefits to employees. You're going to be leveraging strategic, creative, alternative income streams, and that by extent can be leveraged to do massive amount of things, to reinvest into your business, to scale your business, to diversify your operation, but also to provide that environment that is more empathetic, more humane to the human resource development. COVID-19 has tested the world in such a way today that as a researcher, as an analyst, as an economic analyst and an economic forecaster, I can say that it has challenged human research in such a way that you're seeing tremendous weaknesses in the global HR system, particularly coming from the private sector and their ability to deal with employees and all of the issues surrounding, the negative issues surrounding COVID-19. We will go into that not today, but at a later time we will do a deep dive into that as we start to dig in deep into the new corporate culture and how it can help companies and how it can help employees. We will do a deep dive into that. Coming back to the subject matter again, when you look at your annual income against your annual expenditure, you see a negative balance sheet, which is not healthy. Now, what most people do, they notice, they live with it, and they live with it in stress. Our research again shows that there are people in your workplace, there are people in your life that put a smile on their face on a daily basis, but they're going through stress. They're going through chemical stress, they're going through emotional stress, and they're suffering from physical stress. Today I don't want to do the psychoanalysis, but everything that I'm saying here is absolutely true. Persons go through emotional stress when they're experiencing lack and limitation. And the moment you start to run out of cash, your stress level begins to raise. And that affects you in more ways than you can possibly imagine. Because stress kills 110 million persons every year. It's important for you to know this. It's important to you to recognize this. And it's important for us to come together and find practical solution to help to bring this down. This is human life. All right. Stress kills more people annually than COVID-19 will kill people. Stress is also invisible, just like COVID-19. It's more detrimental than COVID-19 stress. And it's important for us to start to ensure that we avail ourselves to these kind of content, these kinds of information that seriously affects how the human resource function in your organization. I'm saying to you right now that if you're to do the research, you will see that over 40%, over 50% of your workforce are working under some kind of stress. And the time for us to say that whatever stress the worker is going through is none of my business, that's old talk. We got to back that up, we got to throw it away. For the simple reason that if your employee is going through some kind of stress, it is affecting how they work in the organization, which means that it is affecting productivity. And if it's affecting productivity, it's affecting the income potential of the organization. And if that's happening in a ripple effect throughout the organization, your productivity is being affected a whole lot. Your income earning ability is being affected a whole lot. Now look at this in a simple way. An employee under stress, that employee is not motivated to communicate with the final consumer, to motivate the final consumer, who are the spenders in your company. Now just think about this. If you have a highly motivated workforce, who are skilled and trained to motivate the desired result, and they are naturally motivated to do this, can you imagine the impact that that's going to have on touching and transforming the lives of customers and potential customers, and what impact that's going to have on your bottom line? So it's very hard for your employees to do this when they're going through emotional stress, chemical stress, and physical stress. And all of this happens when they look at their balance sheet. But they are in no position of strength to navigate this because, yes, they're on a treadmill, and from work they're going home and that treadmill continue. So they're not able to do introspection. They're not able to do the self-cycle analysis to see what are best practices that they can perhaps adopt. Again, the school system never teach them this. We want to teach you this. At Global Brand and Marketing, at Mega Money Media, at Venture Capital Inc., we want to help employers and we want to help employees to become trendsetters in how you manage business, how you care for your employees, how people function in society. So in our program, what we do when we recognize that your balance sheet is a negative balance sheet, we start talking to you about what we call your smart investment strategy. All right, we start to talk to you about your smart investment strategy. And in looking at your smart investment strategies, we're not looking at your smart investment strategy simply because we want to increase your cash flow. Yes, we want to do that, but you must have your future plans. and we looked at some of it early on. I want to ensure that every person, they have dreams, and they have hopes, and they have aspiration. At Venture Capital Inc., at Global Branding and Marketing, at Mega Money Media, we live by these principles. We are bringing very new concept because we continue to research the global financial market, the global human resource development market, and we see gaps, we see weaknesses, and we want to bring some new innovative approaches to how we can do things to achieve better results. We know for a fact that people need more. People have dreams, they have hopes, they have aspirations. People dream to own their own home, to drive their own car. People dream for early retirement. People dream to earn enough to send their children to the best education institutions. People dream to study more, to develop themselves intellectually. People have dreams and hopes and aspirations. And again, when these dreams and these hopes and aspirations are not realized, people again fall into the stresses I spoke about early on. Emotional stress, chemical stress, physical stress. I'll go deeper into all of that later on. What we do to eliminate the stress, because we are not just identifying a problem. You see, when we come to you with a problem, we're also coming to you with a solution. Okay, that's what we built on. Our platform is built on adding value and is built on fixing problems. We don't talk about an issue unless we see the problem and we know that we're in a position of strength to add value and fix the problem. We are not a problem child. We are not the guy that's going to tell you you're doing something wrong and then leave you to find a solution. We're going to find it for you. So we don't talk about any issue until we have the solution to that issue. So we see the problem here where your balance sheet is not aligning or empowering you or positioning you to fulfill your future plan. And I just list some of those things. So when we recognize this, we bring you right over to what we call smart investment strategies. Now, there are a number of things that you can do in a smart investment portfolio. And here is where your professional financial advisor, your personal financial advisor must be in that position of strength to help the individual or help the company to develop these portfolios for their employees. Fact one, saving money don't get you rich. You save money when you have an intention to invest money. But in most cases, you yourself don't even know how to invest those monies. Depending on where you are in the world, in the developed world, you have greater access to investment portfolio. You can go to the Montreal Bank, and that has an excellent history. In 100 years, they have not paid out dividends to anyone. In 100 years, they have lived up to their obligation to pay dividends out. So those are excellent investment portfolio. You have investment portfolio that you call the 401k. You need to understand this. You have REIT, which is a real estate investment fund. You have the health REIT. You have retail REIT. You have office REIT. There's a number of portfolios out there that I'm trusting it when you find a professional financial advisor or a personal financial advisor. They can truly give you the professional advice in terms of the kind of investment portfolios that you need to start looking at to create what we call passive income cash flow, to create what we call multiple streams of income, to create what we call smart investment strategy to get you on the way in building generational wealth. You owe this to yourself. So the next time a natural or man-made disaster like COVID-19 presents itself to you, you know that you have a little bit more insulation to insulate yourself and your family to protect yourself. I'm fully aware that it is easier for some people to self-isolate. It's almost practically impossible for the majority of people to do so because you work in paycheck to paycheck. And the moment you stay at home one day, you're making a calculation how that's going to affect your bottom line, your income base. There are many small companies, they are company owners, but they're still going paycheck to paycheck. There are many companies that earn, and at the end of the month, they have to pay bills. Light bill, phone bill, salaries, rent. I know what I'm talking about because there were times in my life when I was young in business, I went through that. But I've learned from those experiences, and I've learned how to do smart investment leveraging. And for me, I learned the hard way. Because even me, I used to go through a lot of emotional stress and chemical stress and physical stress to the extent that I know that I was going to a stroke. So I had to redevelop, rethink my position, reapply myself, develop new innovative approaches to make things work. So the things that we have been doing for the last, 10 years has been working really well. And we're going to now share this information with you so as to ensure that we can help to fast track your development and put you on a solid foundation where you yourself can start to lay the foundation to build generational wealth. So again, in our program, we really work with the individual and we work with company. This is what I want to say. We have absolutely no intention to attack any business. Our mission is to partner with business, to work with business. We ourselves are business leaders. But as a business leader, we also see ourselves as having a moral and civic responsibility to the human resource. And it is because of that we are speaking about healthier human resource policies that can give the workforce the kind of income security that they need in times of crisis. And as I said, we don't talk about a problem unless we have a solution, and we have the solution. So all we want to do is to partner with businesses and partner with people to present these solutions and help you to develop these plans. So in the event that the world should face another crisis like this, we have less people to be stressed out about as leaders, as business leaders, political leaders, because we know that steps has been taken to give every single family the cushion that they deserve to overcome these crises. I trust that you would have learned a lot from today's program. I'm going to quickly recap on what I talked about. I say that it's important for you to develop your income, to do your income life cycle and lifestyle audit. In most cases, I don't think you might be able to do it yourself. So you need to work with a professional financial advisor or get a personal financial advisor that can help you. These concepts are applicable both to businesses and is applicable to the individual. So we can help businesses to develop the strategic income generating portfolio without having zero impact on your primary income portfolio. In fact, when we're working with businesses, we'll show you how to leverage your excess liquidity, how to leverage smart capital to create other source of income. So this program you have learned so far about your income life cycle and lifestyle audits. In this program, we looked at your income against your expenditure against your balance sheet against your future plans, and your future plans against smart investment strategy. We will go deeper into this when you come into our classroom, when we come to your company to provide this training for your employees and your senior managers, to give you guys a better chance to navigate the world of finance and to navigate human resource and development. Along with this, we have also spoke about income leverage portfolio. Those are new systems that we have developed, but we believe that every single person, you owe it to yourself to know what we're talking about when we talk about income leverage portfolio. You don't want to depend on a single source of income. You're better than that. You've seen across the world what depending on a single source of income is doing to you right now because of COVID-19. And you're smarter than that to sit and wait and allow it to happen again a few years from now. If you love yourself, you love your wife, you love your children, this is the time to take action, to take informed action. So get the right PFA, professional financial advisor, personal financial advisor, and ensure that you lay the foundation for financial freedom. And in that process, you want to be thinking about owning your own home, your own car. You want to look at higher education for yourself. You want to think about securing your children's college funds. You want to think about early retirement. You want to think about the all-inclusive family tour for your family. All of these things are possible if you know exactly what to do to make it happen. Your financial advisor, your professional financial advisor, your personal financial advisor must be in a position of strength to educate you in this. In the event that you are not satisfied with your PFA, feel free to reach out to us at Venture Capital Inc. at Global Branding and Marketing at Mega Money Media. We will be so happy to work with you in terms of helping you to develop your corporate plan to help your employees. And if you're an individual and you want the help, we will be most willing to help you. We are now occupying some very new office space and very big space that we have now. And what we're going to be doing, we will have built in to our head office a lecture hall. So you will be able to come over to our lecture theater and have these broad interactions on these subject matter. Again, if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Gary Thompson. I'm a business development consultant by profession. I'm a humanitarian by nature, and I'm the author of several books, including Billionaire Codes and Manager's Toolkit. I'm not the kind of person that boasts about myself a whole lot, but I want to say that I've studied and I've studied wide. And in all of my studies, I have graduated at the top of my class. I came out with merit and distinction and a GPA of 3.93, which is close to accurate. So I make this not to boast, but to say that when we commit to what we do, and we have done the research, we have done the study, and we are so happy and so excited to work with you, with businesses, and to work with families across the world, because the platform that we're building is not just a Caribbean platform, it's an international platform. So we're going to be working with people across the world. So feel free to reach out to us. We have a team of innovative thinkers. We consider ourselves to be the global thinkers and social actors and transformational leaders, the dream makers, game changers, and trendsetters. And we are fully prepared to put that arsenal of people behind your business and behind your personal development to ensure that moving forward, you're in a better position of strength to lead. Be blessed until the next broadcast.